Okay, what we're doing here is cleaning our onion bed out over here. Pulling a few onions out of this bed over here, raised bed, and getting ready to plant something else in it, maybe some beets or Swiss chard or something on that order. We're just trying to get it ready to, it's like I said, plant something else in there. I probably showed you this 1,000 times. It's really nothing out of the ordinary, nothing special, except I am doing one thing that I usually don't do. Of course, the time of year when I've got plenty of onions would be the time that you'd start saving the greens. Most of the time I'd cut them off and just throw them down. And a few people called it to my attention, so I thought, well, hey, then they work great to cooking. While you're doing it, instead of throwing it away, you've spent the time growing it. So just go ahead and utilize them. The greens, the tops of these, is what I'm talking about. So that's exactly what I'm doing. If there's any brown pieces, little brown tips, while I've got it in my hand, I'll go ahead and get them off. Most of the time, the very tips of them are kind of brown just a little bit. I planted these to eat as green onions. I'll go out in the garden before this is over and I'll get one and we'll do a little taste test on one of the onions. I like picking onions. It's up in the day. I don't know exactly what time it is. Afternoon, I suppose. I like picking onions if I'm going to eat them quick. I like to pick them early in the morning while the onion's still cool and it's had time to soak up plenty of moisture and they're good and crisp. You wait the heat of the day, and if you've not watered them, and I did water these a few minutes before I picked them, they'll get kind of a little bit dehydrated, not much. It seems like they're a little tougher than normal, you know. And you can see the brown on this one here. That's why I'm trimming that brown off while I've got them in my hand here. If anything looks a little bit yellow on the tips, I'll just go ahead and take them off. They ain't nothing far as I'm concerned. Well, I guess they are something better than a green onion, but I love them. Love green onions. One of the easiest things in the world to grow. Once you catch on a little bit to the learning curve, which ain't nothing to it much, just you can grow some pretty decent onions. Just like I said, why I grow these in that raised bed was strictly to do what I'm doing with them right now. I like to take these, get me a baggie, cut me about 12 or 14 of them, and put them in that baggie and put them in the crisper drawer on the refrigerator. And when they start cooling off, they'll get good and crisp. Hard to beat that way. I like them anyway, let's put it that way. Of course, I done some research a little earlier about green onions. Are they harmful to your body if you eat large volumes of them? I guess anything is, but no, everything I got's are actually good for you. And if you like them, that's a plus, isn't it? And I do like them. See that whole blade there's yellow, you know. And you don't want that. Just go ahead and get them off. Take them off. That's what I do. I just pop them tips off just in case. Rather than try to pick one out at a time and do it, I just snip them off. You'll see in a minute. For the ones that don't know what I'm doing or have never saw this, and I'm sure there's a few out there that hadn't. So that's why I do this. Just to show you, it's a lot of times it's easier to, or more comprehensive if you see somebody doing this. And it's like I say, I ain't got 12 or 13 here to do. There's no need to pick a bunch. Just let them grow a little bit, you know. Oh, it's like I said, the only reason I'm pulling that out right there is I need to get it, and I've got it way down. There's a few smaller ones in there that I'll let grow a little while longer. But get them out of there where you can replant that with something else. Got one more here, and then we'll get to trimming them up a little bit. I'll rinse them a little bit more. Like that, just like that, my friend. Well, I missed one. It slid back on me. This is a red one. Purple, whatever you want to call them. Just rinse them right good while you got them there. Move them around just a little bit. Rinse them now, and you don't have to worry about it, see? There'll be a drain in a little bit. All right. And I'll rinse them 2 or 3 times before I get done. There it is. Now, take one and think, well, I want that onion to be about that big. And just go ahead and trim them off, and that's what you've got. Then you can kindly, just cut the rest of them. I'll lay them in a pile, and over here, just like that. Trim them off. If you break one, just go ahead and get it out of your way. See? Try to keep them all pretty close to the same. They don't have to be exact. And now let's give you an example. I'll count these, make sure that there's 12 or 13. That's what I said there was, I don't know. All right. Now, I don't want to wet those green ones anymore. Leave that open. Lay that right there. I'll rinse these one more time. Then I'll put them in the bag here. Gonna get that up out of the way. And get us a bag. Now I don't try to zip them up in there. I don't try to shut them up. I just take them and put the bulb end down like that. That's 6, 9, 10. Baker's dozen. 11, 12, 13. 13 onions. Now this is a gallon bag. And if you wanted to, I can take this, trim them off. When I put these in the refrigerator, I don't trim that bag. I mean, I don't zip that bag shut. I put them in a crisper drawer and leave that bag out and they can breathe a little bit. But you can see that's 13 onions right there. And when I'm eating breakfast, I may eat a couple. When I eat supper, 2 or 3, last you 2 or 3 days. Each bag will. You can see, I'll hold these up, what a wad of green onions that we got here. The tops, green onion tops. And then get you a handful of these, just like so. Now if you was inside on a cutting board, you can take a knife, but it's a lot quicker. Could be quicker with a knife. I never did care much for shears if I could use a blade. And just like I said, you can take these, you can take shears and shear that, them onions like that, but I really would rather take a knife and do that. It's a lot quicker in the long run. More natural to me to do it this way. Then once you get you enough to hold your bag up, you can go ahead and put them in your bag. And that's what I'll do right now. Green onions, I say. Now you can throw these away. These are great to cook with, I'm telling you. I wouldn't want to put a ton of these up in the freezer, but what I do is I put the onion bulbs up. We take them and cut them, dice them with a onion chopper. Vidalia Chop Wizard's what I use. And I would much rather chop these here and pick them up and put them in there, rather than try to hit the bullseye every time. Because we're doing this to, we don't want to spend all day chopping onions, green onions. But I'll just get that bag full, how many ever it takes. There's a difference, I mean a big difference in green onions and the bulbs, and I love them both. In certain dishes, you want different things, you know. You could dry these if you wanted to. Make a spice out of them, like for soups or whatever. I've got Egyptian walking onions growing too out there. And the Egyptian walking onions, if you've got them, you've usually got green onions practically all the time. Practically all the time. And that is a good thing to do, or to have, you know. It surely is. Now, let me try something here. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's just pretend that this is a chopping board. I don't know, it may scratch everything all to pieces, but Yeah, on a chopping board you could go to town, man. But I ain't got a chopping board out here. We'll chop it like this. Call it a chopping board. How's that sound? Because I know that would dull my knife. And scratch the bottom of the work area up here. We about got her. We'll go out there and get us an onion check in a minute and see if they're coming along pretty good and how they're doing. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we come up with here. All right, now right there is a gallon. I'll zip them up now, or I'll drop them and spill them. There's a gallon and of green onions. The green ones and the bulbs. So that's what we got out of 13 onions right there. Gallon Ziploc baggie full of chopped green onions, and then 13 bulbs right there. Now let's go out here in the garden and we'll see if we can't get us another onion to look at here. There is a good onion. Let's get that right there. Let's get that right there. I'm just roll it forward here like that. Pretty good onion, you can see. We got us an onion out there. This is the first one, big one I think I pulled out of the garden. It is. And we will, that's a pretty good size onion. I'll rinse this one off and we'll give it a try. And get the wood chips out of it. Okay. Get me a drink now. I just trim them tops off for a little. If I was going to dry that, of course you won't pull them. When these get ready to pull the onion, you'll know it because they will break over. They'll break over just like that. They'll be broke over. When that on their own, by the way, when that happens and they're broke over like that, this ain't gonna grow no more. You're just supposed to get them out of there whenever you find the time. But then these will be drying up, these greens will. And you can take a wire or a rack or whatever and put them down through it and just let that bulb hang there. And it'll cure out. Yes, sir. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sample this baby. I'm gonna see what it tastes like. So I'm gonna get a couple of them. Them will dry out, and that's the skins that will protect your onion. And they're a little tougher as a rule of thumb. Not too bad this time of year, but they're a little tougher. We'll find out how tough and what kind of onion we got here. I'll go ahead and trim them off where they're not flopping all over me. And that's a sweet onion. It's supposed to be a sweet onion. Let's see how sweet it is. Cut that root off a little more there. I can feel and taste the heat. I mean, sunshine, a little warm. Not spicy warm, but just warm, where it's been sitting out there in the sun this morning, or today. That's what I'm saying. They're better, crisper, when you pick that onion early of the morning. A lot more crisp. That onion's sweet. Very sweet. If that was a spicy, pungent onion, your eyes would be watering right now. But that's a good onion, good sweet onion, and that won't do nothing but get better. Mm-hmm. An onion is something that's easy to grow, fairly fast growing, fairly. You can take a big onion and put that in a oven or a microwave. I'll tell you how I do it. I take an onion. I've got these little ceramic bowls, little cookers that they're microwave safe, and they're solid, about like, I don't know what they are, ceramic like, but I don't think they're ceramic, more clay like, ceramic, whatever. Got a lid that goes on them, and that lid's got a hole. It's got a handle on the top you pick it up with, and right through that handle is a hole that's probably the size of a dime. Let the steam and stuff out. You can take an onion. What I do is take an onion. I get the outer skin off. Take that big onion and put in there, and then take my knife, and I'll go on the top, and I'll cut me like a V out, or, you know, like a upside down triangle. Take that out, and I'll take one beef bouillon cube, and if you don't, some comes in cube and some's powder, either one, and put a little in there, and then coat that with a little olive oil or butter, and cook that in that microwave. If I'm not mistaken, I think I cook them for 5 minutes on high. And you can make a meal out of that. It changes the whole, that caramelizes, my goodness, and you make a meal out of it. They're delicious that way. If you've not tried it, give it a shot. Now, when you eat the bulb, you get back down into the green, and that green starts getting tough. That's the skin that covers that onion. It's hard to eat right now. So I'll just grab it out of the leaf, and take them off, just like so. Then you're getting back down to where it's tender. But I want to tell you, after eating that bulb, that head of that onion, you get back down into here, you start getting a little more heat. And if you want to eliminate some of that heat, take them outer skins off, like that. And then you're back down to a little green onion. So even though those look big, you think, well, I'm not eating that. Just a little trimming and you're right back to this. Little green onion. It's a green onion. They're good. They're good if you like green onion, they're good if you don't like them. Right here is what I got. A gallon of green onions. Person should pour them out in a salad spinner. And I'm gonna use these quickly. If I was gonna freeze these, put them in the freezer, I'd lay them out and dry them. I'd let them dry before, I wouldn't put them in there like that, because when you do, all you're doing is asking for frostbite, freezer burn. But they're worth saving. This time of year, it's hard to eat. It's hard for me to eat without green onions. You can fry with these, saute with these, and these green onion cut up. I just eat these just like they are. And if you want to, you can chop them up and saute with them, whatever. Something that's well worth doing. And I've thrown away truckloads of them greens till somebody on the internet got to jumping on me. And I decided I better start saving a few of them. I had to pick my mess up a little bit and put in the bucket. Yes, sir. There's nothing better, as far as I'm concerned, to cook with than garlic and green onions. One of the best spices. I think they are. That onion opened my head up. I mean, it's not hot. Believe me, if it was, I couldn't eat it. If it is, that's hot. But it'll be a good sweet, especially if that was cold. Woo. Mm-hmm. Some people like to eat onions better than others. I'll tell you, we've been fortunate, and we've had probably an inch and a half of rain, and let's see, so that'd be two and a half. I'm just telling you, this spring, I mean, since I started working in the garden, I don't think that I've had over 2 3/4 to 3 inches of rain. Proud to get that, believe me. Now I say I've not watered anything. I did my onions, row of onions, I watered them twice when I first got them planted. And my little tomatoes that I've got trying to come up around this trampoline ordeal that I'm going to use for a trellis, they're starting to take off a little bit. All this over in here, I'll show you in a minute, and that way you can see, but all this garlic is volunteer. And this volunteer garlic looks better than the whole year. Last year looked my garlic. I don't know what it was last year, but it was a terrible, terrible time for me here growing garlic. But now it's done well. This different seasons and rain and amounts of stuff affects things from year to year. It really does. I'll show you, you know what I'm talking about. Let me do that right now. I'll show you the garlic. You can see the garlic. out through there maybe. Let's see, yeah. Should be able to see it. About 11. That's all volunteer. Every bit of that garlic's volunteer. And it's doing fair. It's a doing fair, I suppose, all the way out through there. And this lens, and it's awful sunny out today. You can see the shadows of everything. And around through at every post around through there, I've got a tomato. And growing. And these in the front is little bitty things. Right there in the center, you should see one. At every post, you can see a tomato maybe. The onions is doing fair. And I'll show you again where I use those egg tray onions. And they're coming up. Right here is I had some, that's an indeterminate tomato. It's a volunteer come up by itself. And I think it's some kind of tomato, maybe a black tomato or whatever, black tomato. But anyway, I didn't have enough. I thought, well, how am I going to do this? So what I done was drove 2 T-posts right there at the side of that. Let me lighten up a little. I drove 2 T-posts on each side of that container. And then I took a tomato cage, because that tomato cage would have slid over that. Well, my tomato cage wouldn't have been no taller than the bottom of that wire around tomato cage. I wired that tomato cage to the bottom, or to the top of those T-posts. And you can see how high it goes now. Then I've got 3 those tomato spools up there. And I'll pull that tomato with that rope, if the tomato lives and does well. I'll train it to climb up that, and then once it gets up there to that tomato cage, it'll start filtering out through that tomato cage and kind of help support itself. But anyway, you're talking 8 foot there, 8 foot tall. And if it gets 8 foot tall, it'll surprise me, but we'll see, we'll see. Right here, that's the first run right here closest to me, that onion. 7 egg crates through there, and then right out there you can see the last 7 egg crates coming up. So they're coming up well too. Potatoes, they're doing fair. I've not saw any potato bugs on them. And the Egyptian garlic, or Egyptian walking onions, you can see they're getting ready to start walking. They're putting them little onions on top. And over there, you can see a row of tomato cages, and I've got tomatoes over there planted. I'll get a little closer. Yeah, you can see the tomatoes there. All the way out through there. Tomatoes, and then I've got little peppers down here in the plastic. That's jalapeno peppers. So maybe they'll come on and do good. And then out through here, hard to see. Right there in the center is a little watermelon. And right here is a watermelon. They're not looking too swift. And it's got a weed or two around it needs to get out of there. I'll do that right now. It's time for me to weed after that rain. Yeah. A couple little plants. They'll take off. The fertilizer's in the ground waiting. Out on that far end, you can probably see, maybe to the right of those Egyptian walking onions, a little green looking row, that's cantaloupe. And it really don't look that bad. There's the circus that come to town. Yeah, it looked like a circus out here. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's go back over here. I'll show you one more thing here and get situated. Right there is zucchini, 3 of them right there, plants, zucchini plants. And then that's a zucchini, and they look pretty peaked, and they're starting to perk out. They're starting to do good. And then here you can see little lettuce plants in there. Got some lettuce. You can't hardly see them. You can probably see them better than I can. It's awful bright out here. Right out there in the center, at the center of the screen, by the potatoes, is some cilantro, volunteered to come back. And then, of course, there's some tomatoes in there. Let's go over here. And there is the old trampoline frame that I'm going to use to try to grow my tomatoes up. And there is some greens, and my nephew gave me a couple packs of seeds. It's supposed to have been lacinato kale, and it's not. It's something else. I don't know what it is. It looks more like a collard of some kind. And got more green onions out there. And just like I say, around the bottom of at every post around that, there's 12 posts. I've got 12 tomatoes. And that should, and most of those are the indeterminate, like Gardener's Delight and Yellow Pear, and on the back side, I think I've got 2 Cherokee Purple. But anyway, that's all I got going now. Here is a little container with some lettuce in it. And I'll give you a peek inside the greenhouse while I'm out here. Tomatoes, and that's the stuff that's supposed to be in the lacinato kale. You can see I've got plenty of it. I've got some corn planted in that tray right there in the center. It's not come up yet. There's a tray of little lettuce plugs or lettuce cubes or whatever. And a few more peppers and what's left of the Swiss chard. More tomatoes right there in the center. Got cucumbers blooming, needs to be planted over there. Lord, plenty more tomatoes and squash and everything else. There's the sweet potatoes that you've seen me trying to get started. They're up and starting to take off. My little onions, you see right down there in the center of the screen on the bottom, a little container of onion. You see the edge of it. They're still kicking. There's 2 Gardener Delight tomatoes that I'm going to leave in that container. And over there on the shelf, there's 2 that's side by side is beets. Those are beets that I planted, and got a tray of marigolds right there that's coming on. There's a tomato down there and some aloe vera that I had to transplant. Right there on the corner, right corner, 2 things of cabbage, and then look how they've stretched there, big tall thing. That's all right. That's tomatillos. You can bury that whole stalk and be fine. It's like you would a tomato. There's tomatoes, different kinds. See, I always keep me a reserve of plants. And I've got enough to plant 2 gardens like I've got out there about it in here. Yeah, just like I was saying, I always like to keep my excess plants. I like to keep plants. And of course I've got other stuff coming along. Here, see, is a flat. There's marigolds over here from that tag over this way, and then more zucchini, and these over here on the left is sunflowers. Giant sunflowers, I think. This right here is a tray of different types of chard. Ford Hook Giant on the left, Bright Lights in the center, and rhubarb chard on the right. The rhubarb chard is not coming up as well as the rest of them. All these others come up every sale. That one's missed a few. I'd say probably 60 or 70%, but that don't mean that it won't come on. That don't mean it won't come on and grow. Tomato plants, more pepper plants over here, Thai peppers and sweet peppers. And these cucumbers are gonna have to be moved. They're blooming. They'll be putting bloom or cucumbers on. They need to be in the garden. My Swiss chard, I've mashed it down. What are you doing, Steffi? Huh? I've done put something on it.
Oh, okay.
Now these right here, you gotta watch when you water. You'll have way too much water in these trays that don't have a hole in them. I poke holes in some of the bottom, the ones I've got on. It's the only one, lettuce, and you'll dampen off your stuff and kill it if you don't get rid of that excess water. Lettuce, you know, kind of likes water, but you can get too much in there. I'm telling you, that's heavy too. I need to switch I can't. Only thing I do is poke holes in them, and I ain't going to. But that's something you got to watch. I bought these trays. Let me show you. Well, these flat, yeah, here's two. These trays are flat bottom trays, smooth, flat bottom. I got them for soil blocks. And these came with the 72 sail starters. These are not, these are tough. Come from the same company. They're pretty tough. These are real tough, real rigid. So I just take my knife and poke me some holes in these. If I'm gonna set them on that, and that's what I done to them over there. Cause you want that excess water to get away. Excess water to get away. And when you're watering a bunch of stuff, it's hard to control it and not get it all over everything. I did trim my tree up. I trimmed that tree, that walnut tree, where it let a little more light in here, still shaded over here. I was gonna cut that. It's either leave that tree or put a shade cloth up, and I don't intend to put a shade cloth. We're gonna leave that tree. And it does a pretty good number on it. But anyway, that's all I've got. I just wanted to show you them onions, show you what's going on here a little bit. It's about to kick off. Weather's getting good and warm. But just like I say, there's plenty of plants here. And just like I said, I done that anticipating frost. You can plant your garden out, and we had 2 frost. I had to cover everything up one night with all these pots. And it's a good thing I did. And then after that, we had another one, but it didn't hurt nothing bad. But it did burn a few of the tomato leaves and killed one. I forgot to cover one cantaloupe plant up. It killed it dead. So it would have got them all. It would have got them all. Here's this little pot of onions. I'll pick it up where you can see it. You can see, now I had this out in the broiling sun. Now I've cut it kind of where it gets shade over here. They're perking back up, doing good. Them's, what are they? Candy onions. And I'll let these grow, and they get a little taller, start getting too bushy, I'll trim them a time or two. And then I'll transplant them out, and there'll be more onions, is all I can say. But them's from seed that I planted. That's it. I'll get off here today. That'll be it today.